Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome to another edition of Track Walk in MX Simulator, where today we are going to be playing the VersusPC compound by the man, the myth, the legend, Checkerz, or Checkerz 448, for those of you that maybe remembered him from the MVA days. But he's simply basically known as Checkerz, I feel like, these days. Yeah, this is Checkerz' final ever release in Sim, or so he says. You know, maybe at some point he would come back and make a track. I don't exactly know. I haven't really spoken to him on the matter, but he has had a thread going on the forums for the past couple years now, at least, where he listed every single track that he's ever created for the game. And this was release number 200, and also, as he has mentioned, his final release to the game. I'd imagine that, you know, he just realizes that the game has kind of hit its peak a little bit, I feel, and wants to spend more time with his family or whatever, which, heck, I don't blame him. When you make as many tracks as he has and done as much for the community as he has, I feel like he deserves to have a little bit of time with his family and time to himself, or so on and so forth. But all of his tracks, including this one, have always just been absolute bangers in this game. He's been like a huge kind of progressor of the game, I feel like, with the tracks that he's built. A lot of my favorite tracks in the game are Checkerz tracks, and then obviously Checkerz and I have had a really good relationship while he's been playing and building tracks in this game, so obviously I consider him a friend, and it's been really awesome to see the progression of his tracks and what he's been able to do for the community, and kind of just in general for Sim as a whole. I feel like it's been incredible. So it's a little sad to see that he's not going to be building tracks for us anymore, but I always, as I do with these situations, whenever someone either like leaves or stops doing something that was once considered great, a lot of people tend to look at it as like a sad moment, but I just look at it as like, hey, we got to enjoy 200 releases of Checkerz tracks when he could have maybe never released tracks in this game, being a developer for MVA. If that series had continued on and been you know, more successful before all the problems with THQ going bankrupt and stuff that Chris wisely kind of saw and got out before it got bad. But if that series had worked out and he'd stayed at MVA and he'd liked working on Alive and all these things that he didn't end up liking, and all that stuff, I don't know if he would have gone towards Sim, because I know that the game creators or the level creators right now that work on the MVA franchise, and some of the ones that even work on the MESX franchise, don't really care for making tracks outside of their own particular genre, as they sometimes kind of swear to their own game being the best, and therefore don't ever like looking at another option. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really awesome that Chris has made so many tracks, and this one is definitely no slouch. I feel like I remember playing this track at one point. He's always been beta testing tracks for a long time. I think like his final surge of tracks that he released actually were a lot of tracks that have been in beta for a while that he just ended up kind of wrapping up finally. But I do really feel like I've played this before to beta test it or something. I mean, unfortunately, you play so many tracks in this game that they do sometimes tend to flow together a little bit, but I really have a hunch I played at least this national track once before. The two Supercrosses and the Arenacross that is on this compound, I most certainly have never played before, until obviously I downloaded the track. And this track itself is actually like a couple weeks old, maybe a month old now, but that just is with kind of my flow of video edits and stuff that I've been able to actually get done of late. This was down on the list a little bit, and I saw it come out and I wanted to do a video on it, but I just was so swamped with a bunch of other things that I couldn't get around to it. Now I'm doing it, and we're going to talk about this awesome track here. So the national track, really fun track. Feels like a kind of almost classic Checkerz track to me, where it has kind of a lot of ups and downs mixed in with elevation, which is what I've always really enjoyed with his tracks, because he utilizes elevation, which some track creators just refuse to. I feel like he just does a great job of every section has like a unique feature, a unique aspect to it that you don't always see on a track, like this kind of like drop down screw you type thing that turns around and comes back up to An uphill tabletop reminds me a lot of Unadilla, but you don't see it on like custom tracks a lot because people don't like to derive from the regular tracks. They like to do something on their own. Even at the top of the hill on the other side over here, there's like a section, it's almost like, in my opinion, the reverse high point, like the Carmichael double and then downhill rollers. It's like the reverse high point because that section turns left, obviously, but here we have a section that goes over the top and then rollers down the hill to the right. Now, I don't know if he did that on purpose or not. Maybe he was trying to take some elements from, you know, famous American motocross tracks and utilize them, like Screw You or like the Carmichael double into the downhill rollers. But either way, it all flows together fabulously. And I do also like the terrain mix-up that he has here, where now we're on like kind of a sandy surface. If you play this track, you definitely like kind of feel how grippy this part of the track is, and then you go back into the hard pack, like right here, where it's a little bit more like kind of tacky, but doesn't really like hold you back as much, so not as grippy as I would say. But all the jumps are on this track, super flowy, super fun, you know, like ski jumps and scrubbers like that one right there. And then this tabletop has an awesome lip on it. Just seems to always pitch you into a nice little whip right there. So all around, like I said, just kind of like a classic Checkerz outdoor track. If I'm picking a favorite outdoor track that Chris has ever made, it's an old track called Sorrento Hills, I think it is, or Sorrento Valley. Really, really nice track. Has kind of like an islander vibe to it a little bit, where it's got like this kind of light dirt and then like some palm trees and some stuff around it. It's a really fun track. I think I've done it for a track walk before. Anyway, that was always my favorite Checkerz track, and this one's definitely up there. I mean, all of his tracks are great, so I can't complain with this one either. It's got, just like I said, great flow, a mixture of sections. Like, look, even over here, Millville Sand Whoops. I guess maybe what I'm getting at here is that he did incorporate some realistic elements to the track from other real tracks, which is kind of cool. And then this whole section right here, to me, feels a lot like Sorrento Hills, or whatever that track's called. Sorrento something. Keep forgetting the name of it. Yeah, I mean, that dropping around a high bank corner into an uphill tabletop and then a big uphill triple totally just feels like Sorrento Hills. And that's a national track. One thing that I'm gonna hit on over here that isn't actually listed as like part of the track and doesn't have its own timing gates or anything like that, but he's got a little freeride area over here. So just like a couple little sections of jumps. Almost feels like a little BMX section right here, where it's got like a little table roll in and then a couple like big peaked out doubles. So nice little fun flowy section here that he put together. Like I said, doesn't have timing gates, not really part of the track or anything like that, but I always love, as I've mentioned before, when track creators throw like little Easter egg type things into their tracks as well, where you can find these big floater jumps off in the side of the map, or maybe there's something else that you can go find inside of a barn. So that's a cool little aspect of the track. And then over here is, I believe this is the SX2 track, because I think it goes, like track-wise, it goes counterclockwise, where SX1 is on the far left and then goes up top, and then the Arenacross is down below. So this is like the SX2, I believe. These tracks he has folders for them, so they have individual timing gates and stuff like that that you can use and like have races and stuff on. I just used the national track on this one and decided to cross over to this track. And I apologize in advance because I do have like an outdoor setup in progress, so my Supercross skills are a little bit lacking right now. And I don't play this game enough to really carry it over entirely. Of course, I say that, and then I'll probably put like some good laps down, but just as a fair warning that it's not going to look too pretty me riding this track. I will do what I can though with what I've got in hands here. But yeah, this track's super fun. Got a nice little split section right here that I've been nailing this big like 5 triple line out of. But I think it's actually only supposed to be like 4 and then 3-1 or something like that through there. And then the other option would be on-off triple double, I think it was. I don't know. I'll hit it in a second and show you. But it does have like, again, just kind of that Checkerz style where he really worked hard to incorporate different rhythm lanes into it that you don't see on a regular basis. His like object of choice that he goes to, that he always throws in the middle of these rhythm sections, is this kind of like step table thing right here, where you know, like you can land in the pocket and jump off the top of the table, or land up to the top of the table and jump down. I've seen that on quite a few of his tracks. He doesn't use it all the time, but it's definitely something that I don't see many other track creators utilize and him use a lot. So it's just a good way, I feel, to either break up the flow or give options in a rhythm lane that, you know, it's a good way to do it, because you do really have like two full options. Like, it's not like jumping off the table or jumping way high by landing in the pocket and flying over it. There are two legitimate options through each rhythm lane that he builds, because he kind of sets it up so that you hit the line, and yeah, maybe one part of the rhythm lane pitches you a little bit higher than the other set, but you stay lower at the end or stay lower at the beginning, so it evens out. Like I said, a lot of his custom racetracks that we've raced in this game have presented multiple options and lines to use before, so nothing really new, I feel like, in regards to groundbreaking, newer type track elements to either of these Supercross tracks that he made. The other one I feel like is maybe even a little bit more unique, because he has like a couple of flow breakers, is what I would call them, where like things that you wouldn't really expect to work, but they do kind of things over there. So I'll ride to that one in a second, but I'm going to do the Arenacross next. Just wanted to get a quick couple laps here on this track because, well, it's part of the race, or it's part of the entire track as a whole, and it's a very, very good Supercross track, as per usual. So, next up, we'll head over to the Arenacross track, and he did a pretty cool thing with this Arenacross track. You know, all the hot rage right now is erode, erode, erode. You just, you know, basically lay out a pretty flat track and let erode make it rough and rugged. He went the opposite direction with this one, where he gave us a very, very rough track to start. So probably not something you would want to use a road on, because it's already pretty chewed up. Maybe you could use a road to even make it worse if you want, but as you can see, there's like some pretty big lines through the whoops. Each corner has 2 or 3 ruts in it. The rhythm lanes are pretty chewed up, or the rhythm lane, I should say, because there's only one. I've seen him do this track quite a few times before too, like not like this exact layout, but like where he has dug out jumps and stuff with ruts, and I doubt he used a road to do this. I think he probably did this in Photoshop, but if he did, you know, it's something that, like I said, we've seen before, where he kind of pre-makes the ruts and the bumps and the jumps and all that stuff like that, and amazingly it usually works. Like, you would think with all these pre-made sets that it would be very kicky and hard to keep a handle on, but as you can see, I may be riding the best I've ridden in this entire video on this track here, although it is smaller, so it's a little bit easier to learn and keep a handle on, but the other tracks are smoother and maybe, you know, even easier because of that, and I had a lot of problems on them, and this one so far, until almost that moment right there, I haven't had too many problems. There's a little gate here at the beginning, little welcome to the VersusPC training facility. So this would be the entrance to the facility up here. And it looks like he's got a little road that goes all the way up to either side of the map here. And then a lovely skybox with a setting sun in the background. Lovely stuff. Come down into this center area. You got a, what is this, a VersusPC.com rig. And then a shed over here. I think that's the Glen Helen shed. Looks familiar to me. Could be wrong. Anywho, that was the Arenacross track. Like I said, pre-made ruts. Nice flow to it. Definitely works better than you expect, as I mentioned, where you'd expect the ruts to catch you and do some wonky things. It doesn't. It flows great. It has good, you know, lines and rhythm sections in it, and it's a nice little training area for Arenacross, which there isn't an actual series for in Sim, but if you want to feel like you're an Arenacross legend, that is a good place to start. Finally, believe this is the SX1 track. If it's not, of course, it's the SX2 track, and it is the last track on this compound that I'm going to go ahead and hit today, but it is maybe my favorite track on the compound because it just has so many cool parts to it. The rhythm lanes, like I said, multiple options, so out of this corner you can triple in, and then quad, and then, or triple and then quad, I should say, and then single out, and I'll show you the other option next time through. This line here, you can double, and then quad over the tables, and then triple out. Again, there's another option through there later, It's a couple sets of whoops mixed in, one before the Supercross triple over there on the other side, or I guess the finish line jump. This one just kind of in the middle in the back. And then another rhythm lane with multiple options. You can go outside and do this like roll, step thing, triple, and then quad over the back of this tall single and triple out. Turn around, we got ourselves a little uphill dragon's back into a downhill dragon's back, which goes through a small set of whoops into an uphill dragon's back on off before the finish line. Turn around, another split section here. You can go outside double triple or inside quad. And then a big triple finish line jump thing right here. I'm not sure if that's actually the finish line jump or the double thing is on the other side. But then a little wall table back onto the start straight. And again, just such a good flow to these tracks. Like, it just feels like everything connects as it should. And again, with this track, like I said, it has a couple flow breakers like that wall jump over there, and a couple rhythm lanes that you can do different options, like I said right here. So you're supposed to triple on and then triple off of that table. And let's see if I can get this line here. We triple up to the plateau, just didn't quite get it, but you table off to this, and then table over single, double out. And yeah, I don't think I'll be able to get that because, well, my talent in this game is kaput. Over here, though, when you go over this Supercross triple, you can tuck inside here and double in. You triple over this guy, quad, and quad out. Nice little fun flow to that section right there. A little bit long on the quad out, but it's all right, crowd it. And then, like I said, the last little like option line that you can do, like a split option, is out of this final corner here, which I'm gonna crash coming into. You can cut down out of the corner early, get a good drive, and quad before what, again, I believe is the finish line jump. I went over the bars dramatically in testing for this. That time I did it a lot smoother. Big whipper tail over the finish line jump for style. And yeah, this is the VersusPC compound by Checkerz in MX Simulator. So awesome of Chris to put all these tracks that he's done together. I can, if I remember, link you guys to the 200 tracks that Chris has already made in the game, because he has a thread that's got all the tracks in it, as well as this actual track thread, so you guys can download this track and try it for yourself. Definitely a fun one though, you know, get together with your friends online and try out all these different tracks and, you know, hot lap with each other, see if you can beat each other, yada yada yada, because it doesn't get much better than four Checkerz tracks in one place. They're all great, they're all fun, they all have great flow, and would recommend, which is why I'm doing a track walk about it. So yeah, thanks again guys for watching another video here in MX Simulator on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one. So long for now.